Recording is on.
And no.
Let's do it, man.
So, man, we gotta shoot these videos before they come pick us up.
They're on the way.
Because if today is November 11th, 2020. It's actually Veterans Day today. So shout out to all of our veterans out there. The reason why I say this is our prophecy video. Things that just have been coming to me, and this is in the last couple weeks, right? After I prayed this prayer of Jabez. So my name is Alan Thornton. I live in Houston, Texas. This is my esteemed colleague who I owe all kinds of gratitude, and I'm eternally grateful to be around every single day. Mdu, say what's up.
What's up, everybody? What's up?
Man, so let's get right into it, man. I'm gonna just spit like what's been happening to me, and it is what it is. That way, when you guys do pick me up and say, "Hey, this guy's been talking about lions and tigers and bears and assassinations," you can say, "Hey, he was talking about that way back then." Yeah. So yeah, it's been happening. So just documenting my dreams again, as I said, after just things just started happening. So for those of you that don't know, the prayer of Jabez is a prayer that was prayed to expand territories, right? And after that prayer was prayed, God granted that wish. And here's when we pray for things, and I'm experiencing it right now because I'm a little spooked. I'm not right. It's not out of the ordinary. It's way out of the ordinary to me. But it's not the exact thing that we were thinking about, right? It's not exactly packaged the way that we necessarily wanted it, or even dreamed about it. And then things, if you work on your gifts, I remember Jonathan Sprinkles, one of my mentors, incredible connection coach, the best in the game. But he said, if you work on your gifts, I've heard Jim Rome say the same thing, they will make room for you. And be careful what you pray for, because you just might get it. And here we go. So, and this stems, it seems like multiple days, but as I'm reading back, I've been waking up during the middle of the night, having dreams, having visions in the middle of the night, right? And I've kind of been just tired, like, what is going on here? To recap last video, we talked about getting right before the election, getting a vision, right? I was sitting in my hot tub and getting a vision of Moses, right? And this is right before the election was announced, of Moses looking out, right? And he's about to part the sea, and he looks at me. He's about to take his people out of captivity. He looks at me and says, "You are the chosen one. Let your people go." And I woke up and I freaked out. Right? Let my people go. Okay, all right. Well, okay. Had a glass of whiskey and sunk down in the tub. Won't do that again, right? Moses is talking to me. So ever since then, I have been seeing things. I have been seeing predictions and things that have happened even before this. And I don't know if I talked about this. Unfortunately, I had gotten a vision of one of my best friends, and the vision said, "You're going to need to go see Abdul in the morning and get a gift." I said, "Okay." After that vision, later on that night or early in the morning, I get a call, just a random text from Abdul saying, "Hey, my brother unexpectedly died. 34 years old. Went to the Harvard of the South, UNC." And I thought it was giving a gift, but it was get a gift. He wants to memorialize this great, if you know Abdul, he's one of the most incredible personalities in this world. And an excellent sales guy. His brother was very smart, and I'm going to save this on this video, and if I offend Abdul, I got to tell this, right? Because this is the gift. The way he died, and he fell into very smart guy, right? Went to UNC, Chapel Hill, had a couple degrees, ended up with the wrong crowd, wrong circle, ended up spending some time in jail, came out full of life. Unfortunately, nobody, as being a felon, nobody would hire them. And we've seen this story many of times, right? And mental health in the minority communities is very key, and especially when it comes to people that have been incarcerated and can't come out, right? And they start to lose their self-value. They start to lose their self-worth. They get in isolation. Nobody's with me. And then you get the mental health issues that out of the blue happen. Well, all of that is the enemy trying to still kill and devour you. And he ended up dying due to drugs, and full of life. As great of a salesperson as Abdul is, his brother was 10 times better, right? And that's a light that people will not, unfortunately, not see anymore. But we have the ability, and the gift that I got from Abdul, because when I went over there, I thought it was give Abdul a gift, and then I found out, right, his brother died, so I go over there, give him a gift. That makes sense. But it was get a gift from Abdul. And the gift from Abdul was he wants to memorialize his brother. And we talked about the 54 books that I was given to write. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. The 54 books that I was given to write, and I needed to do that by December 18th. One of those books, two of those books, one of those books was on mental health, right? And that's going to be dedicated to Abdul's brother. The other one is about second chances, and that's going to be dedicated to Zahir, Abdul's brother. What I didn't know, and over these last few days, I didn't know the content, right? 54 books. I mean, it's hard to write one book, man, right? You want me to write 54 in what, a month? It's like, a book every day, right? A couple books every day. That, in a normal realm, that is impossible. There's no way. No way. But I was given that list. If you remember the last video, I was given the list of people that will help me along the way, people that'll help me along this journey. So I'm going to tell you a story and a few things, and this is all today. It seems like 4 or 5 days. So I wake up at 12:16, and this is November 11th, right? And you see all the different videos and all how things line up, and I send you these raw notes, right? And yeah, they're misspelled, yeah, they're jumbled, because I'm giving you exactly the way that I am writing them during this time. This is raw and unpublished. I'm giving everybody this. So I wake up November 11th at 12:16 a.m. Okay, I had a dream about the year 2034, and that's an election year. Now, not doing the math, at first I thought election year. Okay, I'm thinking of presidential election, and if you do the math, it's 2020 right now. So that is actually the next election would be in the 30s, 2032 or 2036. So what that means is that is a 2-year election, meaning a congressional election. But in this vision, I see that people love this candidate, like Kennedy, whoever this candidate is. Now, at this point, I do not know who this candidate is, right? And I keep on getting these numbers that add up to 270 communities, and I'm a couple other things, and I'll show you all the 54. I started 54 call centers. We did that before these visions started happening, and then you add all that up into these different regions, and you get 270. So, yeah, where was I, Emu? Keep me on track, brother. Oh, okay. So I don't know who this candidate is, but there's and people love this candidate no matter, they love him like Kennedy, right? For some reason, it's kind of like, and we just got we're getting out of the Donald Trump era, but you know how he got so famous because of reality TV. So this candidate is very famous because of reality TV, very famous because of what he has done with whatever social impact has happened. And he's beloved by the people. They love him like they loved Kennedy. So I don't know who the candidate is, but I know they're in my circle and I survive. So decoding the numbers, the year is 2034. And as I get these visions, guys, I just wake up out of blind sleep and start writing just pages of notes, right? And my fingers are just taking over. And I'm like half asleep as well. So decoding the numbers, two decodes to TO, 0, and it's decoded for me. Like I said, my fingers just take over. 0, clear path. You will not have to look any direction, right? And 3 plus 4 equals 7. That is my lucky number. So when you look at that, 2, clear path, you will not have to look any direction, but you're lucky. What that means is I do not die in this assassination attempt, but there's either a male bodyguard or there is an entourage around me who is not so lucky. I don't know if they die, but that's all they say is it's not so lucky. So whatever that means in the assassination attempt. I also get some more clarity on a speech. So before yesterday, I talked about a speech that Matthew and I were on Build the Block, and I saw the community center, and we were standing there, and we were in that community center. We were standing there, and I was about to go up and deliver this speech, and I got more clarity. And right, the clarity is around watch the game around you, and I got like literally all the framework and almost started writing the whole speech, right? And it starts by saying, right, do we just want to stunt here, right? Do we want to just stunt here and show you a Lamborghini and just drive in the hood in a Lamborghini? Because keep in mind, all these 270 community centers are in underprivileged neighborhoods. People that before this, they did not want to go, right? So here's why. And I'm just going to give you the first part of this and we'll move on to another section. And because this letter that I write will be inside of the book. I got the framework, and I'm going to show you guys a few of the frameworks, like everything that was supposed to happen and it lined up and is like impossible. Like, hey, reach out to these people and then I'll get the names of the people. Hey, reach out. You need to write 54 books and then I'll get all the name of the books. Just waking up out of line, right? So starting out, here's why. We saw growing up the most successful people around us were not, right, doctors and lawyers and businessmen. They were not, right? What we saw, and I go back to, so where I grew up in West Texas, but my biological father is from New Orleans. Now in New Orleans, I went there and I understood one time, I saw, and I was enamored by this being a kid. It's a game called Find the Lady. Now, if you've never seen this game called Find the Lady, it is a game that is geared to confuse you and usually geared to rob you, right? Of something. How this hustle works is a guy comes up to you and he uses, the first thing he does is confuse you. But what you don't know is before you see him and a couple other people see you, and they target you because they know that you are either a candidate to rob, you're a candidate to buy drugs, buy prostitutes, or buy, some type of CDs. Like they can get something from you, right? So the guy comes up to you, he looks, and what's happening, baby? Hey, Pop, what do you got? Follow the lady, you get the guap. Ready or not, take a shot. And he shows you this, and you're confused, right? You're confused. What just happened? So you usually walk away. Okay, I don't know what that is. I'm good. You walk away, and you see on the other side, you'll see another one of them, and this is planned. It's a theatrical performance. What you don't know, people in the hood, these hustlers, they're extremely brilliant, right? And if they just keep that same hustle and change the product, they'll be right where they need to be. So on the other side, what happens is his hype man comes up and you forget what you heard, and you start, the emotion of what you see starts to take over. You see the guy start to play, he puts a $5 down and he gets some money, right? And then the guy says again, hey, Pop, and he looks at you. And now this theatrical performance he starts to use. So I grew up in Toastmasters, and this is a phenomenal speech. And in this speech, he starts to incorporate props, right? You learned that in Toastmasters. So the props are the cards and the money. He already told you the rules to the game and everything you needed to know, but you didn't get it. So we'll say, hey, Pop, what do you got? Follow the lady, you get the shot. Ready or not, take a shot. And you're like, okay, well, how much do I play? How much do I put down? And he told you the rules to the game already. What do you got? Okay, well, what do I do? You find the lady. He told you the rules to the game 3 or 4 times. You find the lady and you get the guap. You get the money. Ready or not, take a shot. It's your turn. You're up, right? He told you this already time, but you forget. They are so good at the alliteration and the hustle. You forget what okay, so you see that. What you don't know is why he's talking to you and all that, and why the money's being played. The lady is gone. The lady is no longer there. You will not find the lady. So the best case scenario for you at that point is to lose a little bit of money or make a donation to the game and walk away. Say, hey, man, I respect the hustle. Boom, you out. Because if you play too much, what's going to happen, right? If you play too much, they're going to rob you. They're going to say, hey, you got a lot of money. They stick you up, take your money, and you got nothing. Or, right, they say you got a lot of money and you're not leaving with that money because you need to buy, hey, man, what's happening? And they're going to sell you crack, cocaine, whatever it is, right? Or, right, a combination of the two. You go in there, you win a bunch of money, and you get in an argument. Those 2 other guys argue, or one of the other guys wins. He finds the lady and he gets all the guap, and you're like, well, that's not how you play. That's not how the game was explained. And then they just say, hey, man, let's not have any trouble. I told you, he found the lady, you didn't. They take your money and they leave, right? It's a shuffle. It's a game not designed for you to win, no matter what. So it's best if you're not there or don't play. But I tell that story because it becomes relevant later on. And I remember seeing this in New Orleans, and I was like, oh man, New Orleans. Hey, Pop, what do you got? Find a lady, you get to go out. Ready or not, take a shot. And I started to watch the game around me. And that's what my speech is entitled, is seeing all these little different things and being able to pull and extract things from athletes, from professional football players, basketball players, from gangsters, right? from pimps, from hustlers, from drug dealers, because these people are true. If you think about it, and some of you are going to turn off this video, but stay with me. If you think about it, some of these drug dealers are extremely intelligent, like to be a kingpin, and some of them are my clients now who went out, did their time, got caught, came out. I can tell you, those of you that have seen Chef Jeff, his whole thing is keep the hustle, change the product. He went out, he was a kingpin in South Central LA, sold a bunch of crack, and ended up going to jail for about 10 years. Now he does great things in the community and helps with the drug to prison pipeline. Rose Up is one of the top chefs in Vegas at the Bellagio, right? Executive chef. Should have never happened. It's impossible in your own strength. But just little things like that. One of the things that I see here, so the reason why we do these community centers and the reason why we show these Lamborghinis and we tell them the most successful people that we saw growing up were not doctors, we're not lawyers, we're not businessmen. Now, I don't want to give anybody the fallacy here of I grew up robbing to eat, because I didn't, right? I grew up lower middle class. I wasn't robbing to eat. I just didn't have a lot of money, but I was hungry, right? I was hungry for more. I was that kid that was playing for more. And on the other side, I know I'm skipping around here, but this is important. On the other side, you see rappers, right? You see on TV when we were kids, we saw rappers, we saw actors, and we saw athletes. Now, where we lived, there was no real athletes that had made it from where I lived. There were the rappers and actors you saw on TV, right? You saw the No Limit Shoulders, you saw Cash Money throwing money in the air, and you saw all the Lamborghinis and all that, but they weren't in your neighborhood. They were just on TV. I can remember the first time like I saw a really nice car, right? I'm not talking like a really nice clean car. I'm talking like an exotic car. And this is what happens. Like an exotic car, like a Lamborghini. I remember seeing a Range Rover for the first time. And I was like, man. And here's, as a young kid, what you say, I want that. What does he do? And the people that you saw, not what you heard, go to school, get a good job, get a good education, you can have a good life. And then you saw your teacher driving off in a beat up 20-year-old Honda, which is noble, but if you're hungry, if you're a young kid and you're trying to get it, that's not what you envision for yourself. So all you see is, okay, he's got that. I want that. What's he do? Well, he's he's pushing weight on the corner. You can start for him tomorrow. What do you want to do? Okay, well, that's how I get out. Now, fortunately for me at that time, and I talk about all this in the speech, and this is a whole speech. Fortunately for me at that time, I knew how to do math. When I was real young, my mom took me to Kumon, and I'm doing the same. There was some young kids on our block, and they were Asian. And one of the things is a lot of people think a lot of Asian kids are very smart, and they are, but even more so, their parents push them very hard, right? So they would all, before they would go out or anything, they'd have to do a little bit of math. So my mom kind of watched the game of these Asian kids and found a way to get me in Kumon. So I learned math very early. And we're not talking calculus, geometry, but I knew how to put things together. And I knew how to probability. And I understood, okay, so, and on the border where I grew up, right, in Fort Bliss and in Juarez, it's the past. It was at one point the drug capital of the world. They called it the past because all the drugs through Mexico would pass through that point. That's what they named it, right? Going back to the early 1900s, late 1800s. And I talk about all that. This is a speech that's written down. The other thing is, so knowing all that, knowing the probability and what I saw, and knowing that, hey, I could make a ton of money. And a guy said, look, man, you can make like, I remember when I was a teenager, the guy said, look, you can make $10,000, just drive that truck. And I remember seeing on the news what I saw. I remember seeing a guy going to jail for driving a truck. And I said, okay, $10,000. I remember somebody got 10 years for doing that or something, right? Because it was a huge drug bust. They say, yeah, man, you make $10,000. I mean, 1 in 500 people get caught. And I said, okay, 1 in 500, looking at that probability. So there's less than, yeah. And if he's telling me 1 in 500, I know the hustler mentality, that's hype. So it's probably, right, maybe 1 in 20, right? So there's probably a 5% chance that I get caught to get $10,000. Now doing that, a 5% probability to get $10,000. If I get 10 years in jail, that means each year is worth $1,000, less than a 5% probability. So a 5% probability that I get this $10, but can end up making $1,000 a year for 10 years. That's not a value proposition that makes sense to me. So I didn't fall into that life. And thank you, Mom, for giving me the math early. So that didn't make sense to me. But I still saw that, and I saw people getting through, and I saw other people in our neighborhood saying, okay, I'll give it a shot. And a lot of those people went after that mentality because that's all they saw. That's the only role model they had. Yes, a lot of us had good parents and 2 parents in the home, but for those that didn't, they only could see what the reality was at that time, and there was nobody else really getting it except those people. Now, going back to our story, that shift, and this is the prophecy, that shift when we were up there doing that speech, right? And we said the reason why we're giving a Lamborghini out is to show the kids, right? And we would have a bunch of people write letters on good things that they're doing in the community, and then we would give one of these people an extraordinary car. And the message behind that was, in each community, we wanted to show that a nurse, a businessman, a doctor, a lawyer could have a real flashy car. And it's, again, just for what you see and changing the perception in 270 communities across the US in underserved communities, changing that perception, because now they see that Lamborghini, they ask again, hey man, what's he doing? He's a doctor, he's a lawyer. And now the mentality starts to change. And that was what that article that I saw in the dream was talking about, how by doing this, and it was on a whole TV show called Building the Block. By doing this, we changed 270 communities, right? With what we were doing, put $100 million to $1 billion in each one of these communities. And in my dream, I'm like, man, that's a lot. I don't have that kind of money. So the how's not up to us. It's in the prophecy. Right. So that's part of the dream, and that's part of the letter. And I'll put the whole letter up. I'm gonna put everything raw notes, and I'm gonna timestamp it again so they don't pick us up anytime soon, right? So here's another thing. Right. So that was December 11th. Here's the next one. How we doing on time, Anu? Where we at? How many minutes in are we?
We are 40 minutes in.
40 minutes in. Okay.
40 minutes in.
So another dream, 3:10. I woke up. Now I woke up at 3:10, and keep in mind what the time is on all these videos, because another video I had woken up, I believe, at 2:16 the night before, 2:16 a.m. And I stopped writing at 3:10, which is exactly 54 minutes that I was writing. This one, I wake up at 3:10, and my phone dies at 4:14, which is exactly 54 minutes before. So writing this, I'll show you. I was given this message, woken up at 3:10. After you finish the 54 call centers by December 18th, I need you to file for another 220 call centers by the end of 2020. You will have the money to do it. Even though you may not now, just fulfill the mission in front of you, and you will have everything, even more than you can even believe, think, or imagine. That's Ephesians 3:20, right? I also need you to create, get this, and this is like, I also need you to create 270 books and have them published by January 19th. Let's talk about that, Emnu. 270 books? Like,
That's a lot to pick up.
Dog, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
270, like, I was tripping on 54. 270? So I need you to create 270 books and publish by the 19th, and create a promo for the TV shows that you've been thinking about. One show will be called Prepping the President. Now, as you look at all of these different things that add up to 270, 270, 270, in November, it's 2020, we have been staring at the screen, and all of us know, right? Come on, huh? Look at this, the blue wall. Like we looked at that for a week. The blue wall, huh? And what's it gonna be? What the media did with the advertising game was phenomenal, because they sucked you in for a whole week and said, yeah, more votes coming, bucket of votes. Let's look at the blue wall, and let's go to commercial. We'll have it in an hour. It was incredible what they did for a week. It was like Super Bowl revenue. And that, just watching the game around me. But one of the shows is called Prepping the President. Now, I'll give you, talking about the actual election. Right after the election, right after that, I heard, and this is last Saturday, that Joe Biden had won. I was floored, right? I had no idea he was gonna actually win, but I did my civic duty. I went down and I voted. I believed. Me and Mr. Newman even ran a couple voting drives, right, in different cities, Black neighborhoods across the U.S. But he won. So I said, look, I don't know how, where I'm gonna say or whatever, but I'm gonna buy a ticket to inauguration, right? I'm gonna buy a ticket, and I'll figure it out the West in a little bit, but prices are gonna probably go up. So, believe it or not, when I looked at there, and if you look at Southwest, Southwest it's pretty cheap. And I believe so when I looked at it, the tax amount of my ticket was, it was like 280 something, whatever it was. But the subtotal was 270. The subtotal of the ticket. Now, I didn't know this was going to happen. Let's get back to this. So I need you to create 270 books and have them published by January 19th. And create a promo page for the TV shows that you've been thinking about. One show will be called Prepping the President, showcasing political leaders, business leaders, and young kids that are making an impact in the communities across the nation. They also have the juice to become the next president. Now, if you looked at the prophecy of that assassination attempt in 2034, it said this person was beloved like Kennedy because he has rose through fame from a TV show. That TV show was this show called Prepping the President, right? Now, just sometimes you gotta breathe a little bit, man, I will give you, so again, I'm tripping off 270. I have no idea how that's gonna work. I will give you the 5 categories. I'll give you the 5 categories that all have 54 topics and you're going to break them down into 5 sections: industry, skills, causes, concepts, and equity. So every single time I've seen an insurmountable like number like that, the work behind it has started, right? Like all the different things that need to happen in order to, like, hey, you need to write 54 books, and then the next day, boom, or not that same night, boom, here's the names of all the books. Don't kill yourself. There's 12 disciples to help you along the way. Boom, here's their names. What just happened?
Nothing.
Okay.
I sent an
Boom.
email.
Yeah, boom, here's their names. Right here's the names of the people. Talked to my connection coach, and he said, I said, hey man, I start off every conversation. And for those of you that I've called, if you're one of the 12 people on the list, thank you for not calling the cops. Right? It's and saying, come pick this dude up. Right? My business coach, even Jonathan Sprinkles, I told him the whole story, and he's like, hey, this is great. And I said, man, thank you for not just thinking I'm crazy and coaching me through this being this almost impossible feat. And he said verbatim, I didn't say this wasn't crazy. I just said it wasn't impossible. So, yeah. So thank you for that. But the work behind it. So here's some of the work behind it. I will give you 5 categories that all have 54 topics, right? And a grid. I'm going to show you guys the grid too. Industries, skills, causes, concepts, and equity. These will be provided, used to provide young kids a path to finding their purpose when nobody else would show them direction or give them a path to make money with it. Remember when I talked about since we were small kids, we always heard, hey, follow your passion, go find your purpose. And as a young, hungry kid, we're like, man, my purpose, my passion is not making me any money. Who is going to connect those dots for me? And there was nobody to connect the dots, right? So that's what it is. Here's the dots. Going back to Moses looking at me, you're the chosen one, drink. Ooh, somebody has to do something. That person's you. Right? You need to have this done, but listen to this. You need to have this done by inauguration, because there will be a producer and a director that will pick up your show for prepping the president, and they will be very impressed what you're doing in Black tech, fixing up communities, and the prophecy videos will blow them away. And the fact that you already executed and completed 270 books. Now, keep in mind, guys, I bought my ticket to inaugural. I don't even have a place to stay. I don't even know. It's just like, I hear Les Brown say, hey, if it's time to go, it's time to go, right? Don't wait to get the ducks in a row. You ain't never going to get them ducks in a row. Like, it's time to go. Well, I don't have any shoes on. Okay, you got to go right now. Don't forget it. So here's the other thing. And this is all written. I'm going to show you. I'm going to send these jumble notes in the description of this video. They will introduce you to a person that does educational distribution for schools. That person will have just had a board meeting with the new upcoming administration and how they can get financial education for underserved schools and libraries. They will give you a path to a government contract. And keep in mind, we just started doing government contracts like this year, right? They will give you a path to government contracts with 54 different ISDs that all have 5 locations, giving you 270 new clients. Right? And then in my notes, it goes on to proceed with how we price it out, right? Gave me the packages too. Here's how you price. They will give you a set of your books. they will give you, they will, no, I'm sorry, can't even read my own writing. They get a set of your books and they get licenses with Revenue Accelerator, right? That is printed on the front of their book. Now, this was already printed on the front of the first book I was going to do before even this book. They will also have, right, and this is packages. And it even gave me a picture of how to package together, but it didn't give me a picture to the next day. Right? God, I'm sorry. I said it. So a set of, and my packages right now are gold, silver, platinum, and diamond. And these are packages from $1,000 to a month. Each school will get licensing. They'll get a set of these books, which is 270 books that help the kids find the purpose. And they get a chart, a diagram guide, and it lets the kid boom, 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 find their purpose, right? Based on industry, based on skills, based on cause that they care about, based on concepts that they can master, and based on equity that they can create for themselves, right? Because nobody taught us equity growing up. They just said, hey, even if somebody really made it and they were a prodigy, they said, hey, here's this advance, right? Here's this advance. Nipsey Hussle talk about this. Wealth gets washed out in royalty statements, right? They give you advance and you never see anything else after that. The song is blowing up, but you're broke, right? You see that with a lot of artists that make it. You see it with a good product and equity, because a lot of the people around us didn't have money. A VC Shark sees a really good idea. No offense to Shark Tank, but just other sharks in the water would see a good idea. They'd say, hey, that's a great idea, Mr. Minority, Miss Minority. Give us, I know you need this money. Here's 250 grand. Give us 80% of it, and you take 20. And I know you need this money and you're going to take it. You have no other choice. Nice doing business with you. Great partnership, right? That's how we get washed out of equity. So we're going to teach them equity, right? We're going to teach them equity up front as little kids. And in the last video we taught, and I've heard this so many times since I was 18 years old from Jim Rohn, right? I've heard this many times. Listen to that tape hundreds of times. If they would have taught Wealth 1 and Wealth 2 in school, I would have taken both courses, but they didn't, right? There was no financial education. If they would have taught me some of the concepts, I didn't know what equity was. I thought equity was just, in the house that you owned, right? They didn't teach us cash flow, even real estate, right? Coming up, we're like, hey, we're gonna flip houses, right? I started flipping houses. You don't really know that the real wealth is created if you hold them, because you get the appreciation, depreciation, and you get the long-term income instead of just the income, right? So these are all things that we're not taught from jump at all. So we need to do that. And these books are going to do that. The other thing is that's in here that I wrote down, they'll all get a virtual event, because kids aren't celebrated at that age for things other than sports. Not to knock sports. I played basketball, football, track, all the way through. But it's not in business. It's not like a cool thing to get an award to understand money, right? You're the kid with glasses being called Four Eyes, and you're getting made fun of. And what they don't know is that kid is the one driving the Lamborghini later on, right? Because they put so let's award that and let's change that up front. Also, in this video, and this is me and Matthew were talking about this, it's going to be shot at the nearest co-working space, the one that you're already pre-selling, right? Pre-selling meaning 270 communities, which sounds like, hey, like most people say, hey, let's start with one and see how it works out. And, if that works out, maybe we can. Nah, no limits. It's not enough, right? We got to get it all. And that's the mentality. We were always taught, hey, here's your little corner, do that. And you may not have like, no. We want it all up front, paid in full. Y'all remember the movie. So the other thing is you will have a one-page guide to sell, to show the promotion, show the ROI that the students get, show the ROI for the school. By the way, there will be other moguls, icons, and celebrities that will be interested in supporting your project. You can also pick up the grant business and get some of these schools a grant to pay for your own curriculum. And dude, you hear me?
I'm here all day.
Man. So you have a starting point, right? And this, guys, this is 3:10 a.m. Just waking up, pages. You will have a starting point because you have the framework for the 54. Don't worry about the other 216 yet. Just finish the 54. Now, what I didn't realize too is 270, I had already created 54. If you remember those numbers that are important to me, I keep on getting, they say, finish by December 18th, December 18th, December 18th. You will need these numbers on December 18th. Now, if you look at the numbers 216, it keeps on over and over. 2 decodes to TO, and these numbers, some of these numbers add up to 7, which means lucky. So it keeps on saying too lucky, too lucky, too lucky, right? So just remember that. Do not kill yourself. Reach out to the 12 wise men and women. They will help you. The ones that you do not know will be revealed to you. They already have, you just didn't realize it. The money that I said would be in there is in your possession. You just have not got it. Reach out and meet with Jonathan by the water. He will make this task clear. Send him what you have along with what I gave you. That will be all the tools that you need. Assign different areas to your team with milestones. Have all content done by Thanksgiving. Right? Talking about the 54 books. That's a lot of books, y'all. 54? Full transparency. I started a book. I got the cover. I started selling trainings in another book series, and I started just making money with that, and I did not finish the book, right? And that's been in 2 years. So now I need to write 54 in a month. All right, so just want to make sure y'all still with me. All right, I gave you all the tools you need. Assign them to different areas of your team by Thanksgiving. Take the rest of the time by Thanksgiving, right? So now I have to have all this content. And when is Thanksgiving?
26.
So I have all of this done in 15 days for 54 books. All the content.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So all the content for 54 books. That's a lot, guys. So if I have all the content for 54 books, that's a lot. And I just lost my train of thought. Just so you know, guys, this video is real, right? This is not rehearsed. This is one take Drake. Let's do it. Okay, assign the milestones. And here's the big, by Thanksgiving, and take the rest of the time to put it together, publish, and print. And in bold, it says, yes, my notes. I keep on saying it. It meaning my notes, right? Not God. God is not an it. Yes, I said print. This will also give your team greater pride and bring them together a couple of them feel disconnected. Just give me a revelation about my team, I guess. Remember, if you ever need a light unto your feet and a light unto your path, just reach out, parentheses, pray. Also, I have angels all around you. Do not be afraid. Always choose faith over fear. Now, this is very important, this next part. Remember, Ephesians 6-10, put on the full armor of God. You will need it in the next 24 hours to defeat the lion. Mnu, come back. Come back. We need you, man. Now, I'm looking at this and I'm like, defeat the lion? I got to defeat a lion? Like, what does that even mean? Like, defeat a lion. How many of you guys would just be like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna check myself in somewhere. So here's the other thing. My phone died. I looked at the time and it was 4:14. Right? So that breaks down to exactly 54 minutes after I started. I have my computer in front of me. So I typed in and I'm like a little weirded out and I said, okay, defeating the lion. Let me type this in. So I type in defeating the lion. And when I type in defeating the lion, put this in. When I type in defeating the lion, the story of David and Samson pop up. I read both, and as I remember, because I went through Awanas coming up, right? I was in Awana Cubby. I studied Bible study, but I hold some Bible study. Being a pastor is not my profession, so a lot of these stories, they're jumbled, right? So I remember the story of David and Goliath, which is a famous story and everybody knows. But the things that he countered, I forgot them. I didn't, full disclosure. So I read both and I remembered the story of David and Goliath, but I just remember the giant, right? He had to convince King Saul that he was fit to fight Goliath. And I'm like, okay, now it's coming back. On his way, he encountered a lion and a bear and defeated him. And he defeated him on the way. He told King Saul, I have already done this, right? I have already defeated the lion and the bear. This is nothing to me, right? Like Nipsey says, core mill, no sweat. This is nothing to me. I've already done it. Just put me in, coach. So he says, I've defeated them. I've already done this. Let me do it. In my message that I received yesterday, I was told that I would have to, a couple days ago, right? If at the beginning, after I said, Moses looked at me and said, hey, you're the chosen one, I was told that I would have to defeat a lion, a bear, and a giant. And now this is coming back, right? These things start to put the puzzle pieces together. So it didn't make sense when I read this, but right when I finished that, my phone turned back on. So yeah, that's a lot. Now, this is, so let's look at this. 3:10, this is all today, right? So 3:10 a.m. I woke up and I go to bed at, so 4:14 is when it turned back on. Okay, and then is when it turned back on. And then I had to document, right, what I just learned because my phone was off. And I write my notes right here on my phone. So I was probably up to like 4:45. So I go to sleep, right? I go to sleep and I'll show you this. Where are those notes? I go to sleep and when I go to sleep, I get hung up, right? Because I'm sleepy. And when I go to sleep, I wake up late. So usually I have Bible study at about 7 o'clock and 7 a.m. I woke up at 6:45 and I was going to run. I was going to go over there and, rushing and everything. So I'm in a Bible study with a couple of the pastors, right? Pastor Jeremy's there at Hope City, incredible guy. Pastor Daniel Groves, which just preaches the house down every time. Pastor Trevor, right, who's phenomenal, man, incredible guy, will help uplift you every time he sees you, right? Has not been always right traditional pastor. He's really relatable, right? Great guy. And so I'm going to this I was gonna rush to get there because I never want to miss it, as long as I'm in town. And I hear a voice say, "Don't go, you will infect everybody." So I'm like, "Don't go, I'm gonna infect everybody." Okay. And I'm already kind of tired, so I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'll stay home." So if I'm going to stay home, that's fine. I guess I'll just stay home. As I'm thinking about staying home, I think about what I saw the night before about the story of the lion. So I'm like, man, I've never had visions like this. Is a lion gonna come up in my house and like try to devour me, like, or uh, try to kill me? Am I gonna have to rip it in half like Samsung? Because I'm pretty sleepy, but you got to do what you got to do. So needless to say, I get on Zoom. As I get on Zoom, the first words that Pastor Daniel says is the enemy is real and he does not like you, right? He's real and he does not like you. Shift your words to positive action language. The enemy cannot take you out. And then he goes on to proceed, as you make decisions, make sure they're clear. The way you make clear decision is never make them under HALT. And HALT is an acronym for hurt, angry, lonely, or tired, right? Don't make any decisions if you're hurt, angry, lonely, or tired, which makes sense. Could have used some of that in early in your life, right? But you live and you learn. And then as I'm writing this, I start getting notes, and it says train the Hope City staff on watching the game around you. It will be your first audience in training before you go on stage and on world tour. You will be ready on December 18th, right? And then here's where it comes up, and I was like, Pastor Daniel says the enemy is crouching down like a roaring lion, looking to steal, kill, and destroy. There are people's life connected to your destiny, and he wants to separate them from you. The enemy tries to mess with you, right? So you need to have accountability. I want you to live life out of the overflow, right? So the whole thing knew about just standing and, hey, let's just start one, or hey, let's see how it works out. Oh, no. We want it. Let's live life out of the overflow, right? The enemy will try to rob you. And here's the thing that I was talking to as I was cleaning the night before, as I was cleaning my boy's brother's apartment who had died, right? And it was very tragic, right? And he talks about how the enemy will rob you. They will make you a loner. They'll isolate you. And when you start to do that, you're not engaged. You feel useless. That's when you start showing up late. And that's when people start to alter what the reality is with drugs, fall into a deep hole that they cannot get out of. And that's what happened with, one of my best friend's brother. And he ended up overdosing on drugs. And an incredible light that we will not let this continue to happen, because it happens over and over. John 10:10, God is here to give us life and life more abundantly. But the big takeaway is right in the beginning of the message, he talks about the lion, right? Talks about the lion, and I heard the lion before. Yes, praise the Lord. I'm going to praise it now. The one standing. Oh, here's the other thing. And I remember hearing this in saying this, and this is the trifecta. This is definitely the trifecta going. The one standing with me has a 93% chance the children will follow through. And this is like once I heard this next section, it brought 3 different memories back that I've seen over the last couple days. It said David made some bonehead decision, but God still used him. And right when he said that, that bring 3 memories. One, it connected the lion in David, right, which I had just written the night before. It also, when I was scared in my bathtub, when Moses looked at me and said, "You're the chosen one," and I'm like, dude, that's a lot of response. Moses, geez, why are you choosing me? And you probably don't want me. Like, there's somebody else that you could probably use. Like, I got some screws loose. You may not want me, but and saying that, and then the other thing talked about why we're on stage. I talked about, and this was my opening to the speech, was I want to let everybody know that I want you to find your purpose. I'm going to tell you how to watch the game and tell you a little bit about me with full disclosure. I don't drink that much. I don't cuss that much. I don't smoke. No, I really don't really smoke. But if God can use me, he has a power and a life for you. And those 3 memories just flashed in my mind when Pastor Daniel said that. Right? David has made some bonehead decisions and God still used him. Battle into the breakthrough. Be strong and courageous, be bold. The enemy knows that your praise is valuable. Do not worry, choose worship. Put the garment of praise on. Faith tolerated is fear contaminated. You can do this, stir up the enemy, apply the first 15 minutes of every day, 5 minutes of worship, 5 minutes of word, 5 minutes of prayer. Remember I told you a couple days ago, I had the vision of really controlling my mind in the first few minutes of the day, and the Lakers have just won, and LeBron James came up on the app, and I started the meditation, right? And then gave me, this is great, but use it for me. Find your why. Again, that's finding your purpose. Brag and boast on the things of God. Use your past. Use your past just like it is. And this is what Pastor Daniel is talking to us. And this is like another prophecy within a prophet. It's like you ever been in a fun house at a circus and looking in a mirror, and it's a mirror, it's like, this is never ending. It's just a prophecy inside a prophecy. Your story is valuable and important. More mindful of your agenda. Give hope that there is still a God in the world. Find why. How valuable is worship? And looking at that was the same thing when Moses looked and said, "You're the chosen one," and it freaked me out. Meet people where they are. Go find the pimps, the hustlers, the drug dealers, all those smart people. Go find the people that were felons that are super, as a Boston person would say, wicked smart, right? Go find those people that have those skills and turn them and use them with God right where they are, right? Take the crack pipe, put that down, and put one of your books in their hand, right? Meet them right there they are where they are, right? Not saying, hey, you're gonna bust hell wide open, right? That's not gonna read. They're just gonna say, okay, cool. Let me. If hell's gonna bust right open, let me finish this crack pipe, and then we'll be good. So all these visions started popping in my head. Boldness, who you are, and share the great work that you're doing. Here's the thing. Here's the line again. Share the great work that you are doing, and you will defeat this lion. Y'all hear me? You will defeat this lion. They are connected to your purpose. If you do not fulfill this, the lion wins. Pastor Daniel is saying this, Imnu, right after I read it, bro. The lion wins. Do not be conformed to the ways of this world. Instead, be transformed to the renewing of your mind. If you're going to go through it, grow through it. There are going to be some blind spots. And then my friend Max just had a baby, and he talked about, I can need the bottle right now, right? God is a blessing. He talked about, I don't know exactly, I'm going to ask him to record it because it was so powerful. And he talked about his little daughter, and she needs something, and her lips start to quiver, and she believes that she needs it right now. But what she doesn't know is that bottle's already being prepared for her. She just has to be a little bit patient and let the milk warm up, because it's happening. You don't need it right now. It's coming. You can't see it because you're laying here, but I'm already preparing it for you, right? So, and then that's when I get just these little notes, and it's like puzzle pieces. Design a premium platinum diamond case that holds all 270 books with the door. Send that to your designers. They will connect together, have separate 54 as a starter pack. So I didn't really know what that means. I'm like, okay, so I'm thinking like a square box and then 54 over here, right? There's 5 compartments, so 54. But it comes to me. And I know we'll chop these videos up somehow. We'll let you watch everything, but it just, I start talking about the lion. Now, here's the incredible thing. I didn't go to Bible study, right? Because when I didn't go there physically in person, because what I heard at that time was don't go because you were going to infect people. And that's when I thought things were going to get weird and the lion was going to step up in my room, and we'd have a fight, and the cops would pick me up. I'd be on Shutter Island, right? So what it was, and what I did, I don't think I said this, is he said you have COVID. And I said, oh, I mean, okay, I feel fine, I'm straight. So I called one of my friends. I was gonna go to just a little clinic around the way, but for some reason I called another friend and was working with him and said, hey man, do you have any rapid tests? Because I need the rapid tests. I'm about to go to a funeral, hence the suit, right? I was about to go to Abdul's brother's funeral. Unexpected, happened 2 days ago, right? But in the Islamic culture, they believe in burying right away, right? Don't waste any time. I don't think they even, if I believe correctly, they do not even embalm. I don't think they even use a casket. I believe they wrap them in sheets, and they believe in just right away. It's part of their belief system. So they go right away, and I was gonna go with them, right? This is my brother, and support him at this funeral. But I was told I have COVID. Now, I'm going to one of these little clinics, but instead I go up north. Now there's 100 places, 1,000 places that I can go get a COVID test. The place that I go is 40 minutes away, right? And there's a couple that just aligns. It's 40 minutes away. Once I start driving. I'm thinking, hey, I may not have COVID. I'm just gonna go to the funeral and I'll stick in the back, right? And as I go, my steering wheel like locks, like I can't move it. Like, hey, you need to still go this direction. And I'm like, okay, cool. I guess, I'll go this. This is the way I'm supposed to go. Car's not, just go this way. So I go there. I get there about 40 minutes later. It's in Conroe. I'm in the Heights. It's about a 40-minute drive. I end up going up there. Now, on the way, since it's a 40-minute drive, I'm just looking at all these messages and saying, hey, call these 12 disciples, right? They'll help you along the way. Okay, let me do that. So I call Aggie, which is one of the people on this list. Now, Aggie says, I say, hey, Aggie, how you doing? I know, and I same way I talk to everybody when I call, hey, I know this is kind of weird. I know. Don't call the cops or anything on me. It's like, let's get through this. Let me tell you this story. And she said, no. It's not weird. She said, I actually had a vision too that may align with what you're doing. Okay, let's talk about it. So we have a 40-minute conversation, and she said, well, I'm doing some really good things on content management, and I create a lot of different content and want to see if that aligns. And I'm like, I got 54 books to write, girl. Yeah, what? Yeah. What do you got? And she said, also, I've been working on this thing, and I've done it with some clients. I have this thing called, a VIP day, right? When they come in and they do a bunch of different, we create their courses and everything. And then if I do it, if I have a development team work on some other things, I will help them with that. And I said, Aggie, I've created a VIP day, and I've been looking for a consultant to actually deliver the consulting on how it breaks down for them. But I have that content created. I'm stretched thin. She said, wow. Yeah, I'd love to help you with that. And I said, well, same thing when I talked about Ozzy and Abdul. Look, I'm a startup. I don't have a lot of money, but what I can do is I can pay you as a consultant, and I have a few clients that need that right now, and then we can just see where it goes from there. She said, all right, you got it. Just put it together. Let me know what you need. Let me know what assessment. We'll get you some content, and we'll make it happen. The exact same thing, the exact gap that I had, she was able to fulfill, and she was already looking at, right, doing some of that stuff. And she said, well, what, I have to get the clients? And I said, no, these people already pay. Once they pay me, right, our team goes and sells the package. I just need you to fulfill the service. And she's like, well, I can only do this on Saturdays. And I'm like, perfect. Those are actually, Saturday is the day that I put on my calendar. I've just been so busy. So we can do that every weekend and take care of clients. I have people for you right now. She said, great. I said, well, I just got here. I'm going to have to let you go because Bo is signaling to me, and he's like, right? Because I took a rapid test, and I'm talking to Aggie at the same time. And I said, what does mean? He said, man, you're positive. I said, positive. Okay, that means I got it. I got the virus. Me? He said, yeah, man. But it may just be that you have the antibodies, right? It may not be that you have the actual virus and you're active. He said, I can take a swab, a PCR swab, and I'll have your results to you by tomorrow. So I hang up with Aggie. I said, look, I just found, and for some reason it all connected. And I said, Aggie, I sent you that text, and I know we've been talking. I have to conquer this beast, this lion, right? I have to conquer this lion. That's what I need to conquer. Lion, right? And I'm talking to myself. And Bo's like, hey man, what did you like? I gotta conquer this lion. I don't know. Sorry, that just came to me. So I have to conquer this lion. As I need to conquer this lion, what you doing? Maybe you sitting there in the dark, get a mask on?
No, Jazz, Mia's not feeling well. I sent a note in the chat, so
Okay.
I'm upstairs tending to her. But I say keep going.
Okay, no doubt, man. Tell I said hope everything's good.
For sure, bro.
Yeah. So at this same time, while I am recording, I just lost my thought. I'm recording right now. When we are doing everything, and this is raw. This is a real video. I'm trying to remember this. I just connected the dots that COVID is the lion, right? That I have to conquer. And I said, okay, I chopped it up with Bo, and I said, hey, Bo, what? I don't know how we're talking. He's like, do you have any content, man? Like, I have a big thing that I have to accomplish, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it in healthcare. He's like, yeah, man, you know, some I've been working on a lot of things, and I don't know how we'll fit in, but you know, if you need things with healthcare information or any type of information on, you know, urgent cares or private practices. I know you were going to go to another clinic, but you called me. I have a ton of information that, you know, I could share with you. And I said, actually, I have to write 3 books, and a couple of them are related to healthcare. So, yeah, if let's see what we can come up with, man, and maybe I can pay you as a consultant. I don't know. I don't know exactly how, but I'll give you a call tomorrow. He said, okay. So I go on my way. During this time, so I want to make sure everybody's safe. I text Carol and Abdul, my friends, and I say, look, I know we were just together. I want to make sure that you guys are taken care of. I don't know my results of the test, and I hear a voice say that it's negative. But I haven't got my results back. I get them tomorrow, so I'm texting them, and I say, because I don't know if I'm spreading it, I'm not going to the funeral. But I do have some tests. I bought some tests from Bo. So I bought some tests to give to you guys. So I left them on Abdul's doorstep. Now, the importance of leaving it on Abdul's doorstep is very significant, because I could have gone to any different store, right? I could have gone to any little clinic, but instead I drove 40 minutes north, which is off, especially when I was going to the funeral. Now, right when I was leaving Abdul's, my check engine light comes on. And when my check engine light comes on, I was like, man, something's wrong with my car. But since I'm at Abdul's house, the mechanic that I go through, right, I have a large SUV, and they work on foreign vehicles. So I just naturally went to him because it's cheaper than the dealer. It's 0.7 miles away. So it's very close. I go over there. And if you look at that 0.7, right, again, the numbers that I've been talking about, 0 means you don't have to look any other way, and 7 means you're lucky. So I go over there to Das Auto, and I say, hey man, can you check this out? I've known him for a while. I've done a lot of work with him. He said, yeah, you know, let me get you in. I'll check it out. I'll put it on the scale, right? And I'll look at the codes. So as I sit down just to wait, I hear a voice, the voice, say, "You're about to encounter the bear. And you will defeat it. You'll get through it." So again, just like when I was in my room earlier, I'm like, the whole kind of look around shifty eyes saying, am I about to see a bear? Like, I've never seen this, a bear just gonna run out from the zoo here. Like, this whole vision thing is kind of scary. Okay, I'm about to encounter a bear. A couple minutes later, the mechanic comes out, the owner of the shop, and he says, "Man, I hate to tell you this, right?" And I'm like half listening to him because I'm looking for something like a bear for somewhere, and also like trying to Google what a bear means. So I'm looking at him. He looks at me, and he said, "Hey, man, I got some bad news for you. This is going to cost you about $15,000. Your head gaskets are blown, as you know, right? For a Land Rover that, 2014, you're just outside of warranty, and it's going to be about 15 grand." And as I'm looking at him, right, two articles pop out. I put defeating the bears, and two articles pop up. One article is of a financial thing, because if you know, a bull market is when things go up, and a bear market is when things go bad, right? It's a financial crisis or something happens. And another one is of the bad news bears, right? Football team, bad news bears. So I'm like, this is the bear. Oh, and he's like, what? Because I think I don't know if I said it out loud, but I wasn't like really listening, and I was looking at my phone. And he's like, "Did you hear me? This is gonna be 50." I'm like, yeah, man, right? Because when you're looking down at your phone and you're looking at that, yeah, man, $15,000. Ooh, and then it hit me. Ooh, that's like I'm gonna, yeah. So he says, but here's what you can do. The check engine light code, it's just because your thing is overheating. Now it will run. It will run, and if it's under warranty, right, and it's probably not, it's right, it came off of warranty, they're not going to cover it, but it is fixable. I would just go and trade it in, and you can drive it. I said, okay, I will do that. As I go, so I say, okay, put myself in the car, and I start driving down, right? Because I'm going to go to the Heights and try to figure this out. It's about 30 minutes away. I get halfway down the road, and it says check. It starts overheating. Now, keep in mind, I have drove 40 minutes all the way north, another 10 minutes down on the highway, and nothing's been wrong with my car. Nothing, right? And the check engine light comes on. And now my car's overheating. What? So I go back, I turn around, because I know just with cars, right? There's no way, if a car's overheating, you're not going to make it much farther. So I'm only a few miles away, not even a mile, right? This is literally probably 3 to 4 seconds driving down the road. So I had pulled over a little bit, and I said, man, it's just going to heat up. So let me just take it back. I take it back, and I'm looking at my car, and I'm like, dude, it's just overheating. And he's like, you know what? And I'm looking at my car. I'm like, man, this was my dream car. And during that time, I hear the voice say, don't worry, I've already replaced it. Okay. Replace it. Okay. At that same time, he says, look, just leave it here. Leave it at CarMax. I mean, leave it here. There's a CarMax down the street. Come in the morning. It'll be nice and cool. It's not going to overheat. Just drive it to CarMax and you'll be good, man. And just sell it to him from there. So I said, oh, okay, that's what I'll do. I'll just take an Uber and I'm gonna go down from there. So I do that. I get an Uber. I start to drive down. Now, as I drive down, I get a call, right, from a pastor. And this pastor in our business, we help people raise money for their mission. I have been trying to get hold of this pastor. Great guy, right? I've been trying to get it in hold of this pastor. And I got connected to him with my friend Jameson. And he's been really swamped. And over the past, I'd say month and a half, I've called him probably 7 or 8 different times, right? But at the same time, after a certain time, I didn't want to bug him. But I get a call right when I get in the Uber. I get a call from Pastor Jordan, and Pastor Jordan says, "Hey, man, I really want to apologize. I've been super swamped at the church, and things have been happening with COVID, and we're going through a transition." And I said, "No, that's fine. That's fine. No worries. All good." And he said, "Hey, well, we definitely want to start with you. We believe in what you're doing. You talked to Deborah. She said you guys had an excellent meeting. We just want to pare down the proposal a little bit and just start with, 1 call center. I think we're doing 3. And then I also she says she wants to start in January." And I said, that's fine. We can do that. But just keep in mind, if you start in January, right, we're fundraising, a lot of the money during Q4 comes down because foundation corporations, right, they have to get rid of the money before the end of the year just because tax purposes. But you can do whatever you want. We're glad to have you as a client when you come on. And he says, okay. Well, thank you. Again, I apologize. Hope all is well. I'll see you later. And right before I'm about to get off the phone, the voice says, ask him. And I didn't know what ask him what is, so I kind of stopped him before he left. And I said, okay, Pastor Jordan, can I ask you a question? I just want to ask you, and I don't want to sound this, like I tell everybody when I call them, I don't want this to sound weird or crazy. Just hear me out. What do you know about prophecy? And he says, I don't know. What do you got? And he says, I told him, well, and I know this sounds weird. I know this sounds crazy, but I've been having these dreams. A couple months ago, I prayed the prayer of Jabez. I've been running these Bible studies, right? Me and my friend have partnered on this virtual platform. I've been running Bible studies on this, this platform. And in one of my Bible studies, my men's group, earlier one of those days, my Pastor Groves, asked, hey, is there anything that you'd like to pray for? And I said, I'd really love it if you prayed the prayer of Jabez with me and help me increase my territory. So he did it, and we prayed the prayer of Jabez. And over the past few weeks, I've been getting visions. I've been having dreams, and they've scared me a little bit. He said, like what? And I told him about the same dream that I told on these videos about Moses, right? And being the chosen one and being like, man, heavy on the sauce, bro, right? Understanding all those. And we proceeded to talk all the way through the Uber ride. I didn't even, and I'm just noticing this now. Right before I left, I just realized the Uber driver heard this whole conversation, and when he looked at me, again, that's why I have to kind of be selective with who I share this with. He's like, "Oh, it's good to see you, man. Have a good one." And he couldn't wait to get me out of there, right? Hearing about bears and the election, right? Okay, we got another conspiracy theorist here, whatever this is. But needless to say, I talked to Pastor Jordan, and we talked for literally it's about a 30-minute drive, come back in my house, and he confirms almost 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things that I talk about, right? And then he gives me, this goes to another level. Let me pull this up, because this is just on my notes. Might have missed this section. I did miss a certain section. So earlier that day, and this is going to bring some other things into full circle, and that Pastor Jordan confirmed at 10:36 a.m. again, November 11th. It was said you will have 270 iterations of the watch the game around you speech/sermon. Use a grid, break it into 5 columns, create 54 in each column. In each column, here's the name of the columns: industry, skills, causes, concepts, and equity. This is the grid. Will have 270 items to elect somebody's purpose, right? Remember the number 270. You will help people create video content, speeches, sermons, and profit once they find their purpose. That's another thing. When I talked to Aggie, she had confirmed this thing, and she's like, I would really like to help people create video content. Like if they had a framework of what they wanted to do, talk to Aggie about that when I called her. This will also help felons that won't get a shot find their purpose much faster with this grid, right? You will develop a digital platform, an app that may be standalone. You will also create a board game, both physical and digital. When I talked to Pastor Jordan said, it seems like God really has his hand on your life, and you will reach people that have not been reached or be unreachable before. He also said, you need to hone your gift. You need to embrace the calling that God has for you. You might have done some great things in what you were doing, and you probably heard and you probably felt that you were different your whole life, right? And I have, even when I was a young kid, right? Everybody else would sell all the candy at Halloween. I would keep it, right? And sell it to them after a few weeks when nobody else had any candy, because I was hungry, right? I wanted it. I was selling CDs, right, at multiple different schools. I did not want to. I saw the path just watching the game around me. I saw the path, even though some of them were my friends, right? The pushing weight, the drug deals and all that, and the pimping and the like. And I'm not gonna lie, those are all things that I thought about doing. It wasn't, the consequences were too high for the reality that I wanted for myself. And I didn't want to let my parents down, especially my mom, right? Her seeing me fall into a life like that, which is important. So looking at all this, Pastor Jordan also said, like, you need to embrace that. And he gave me something. He said, you need to embrace that. It sounds like you're going to be stepping in some things, and the same thing as my notes. he started to talk about. Like, you're going to be stepping into, I believe, more than you even thought or imagined. And then I told him about the Ephesians 3:20 prophecy earlier. And he said, well, what you don't know is I have been learned to prophesy. And he's just sitting there at the same time like, wow. In this conversation, granted, if Pastor Jordan would have answered any of those other calls in the last month and a half, right? And I think the last time I called him was about a week ago. None of this would have happened, right? We wouldn't have had, not to say we wouldn't have had anything to talk about, right? Because we would have, but we would have never had this hour and a half conversation, right? And then he also says, I told him about, he's like, get in the right mind space, and you're going to need to sit still for a little bit, right? And really hone your thoughts. And I said, you wouldn't believe this. I just got COVID, so I'm gonna have to sit in quarantine for a few days. He's like, wow, yeah, you need to see it. He said, you know, when I first saw you, I knew there was something about you. I didn't know what it was. I know it was positive, but I did not know, exactly just what it was, what I was seeing. And now it's all clear, that presence that you had. And when I talked to in Pastor Daniel's sermon, he always talks about the temperature, the thermostat and the thermometer, right? A thermometer, right? If you look at a thermometer, it tells the temperature, right? It tells, like, whatever is the environment is in that room, it'll tell you what that temperature is. Whereas a thermostat will change the temperature, right? And Pastor Daniel said that this morning, right, or Wednesday morning. And this other pastor, right, Pastor Jordan said, like, it was you had a presence. And the other thing he said, he's like, man, you have a great voice, and what you need to do is really hone that voice, right? You really need to hone what you have, and you're gonna need to sit down and really reflect on your thoughts. And I need you to prepare for this journey, because there's gonna be some things that come along the way. And I said, well, earlier today, I was told to get ready because you're going to encounter a few things, and you're going to need, right, Ephesians 6-10, you're going to need to put on the full armor of God. And he told me, I want to tell you something. What I have is not this is not a revelation. This is a confirmation for a lot of the things that you already know. You just need to really hone what you have, nothing more and nothing less. And he said, look, anytime you need me, call me. Whatever you need, I'm just excited that you called me, or I called you. And I believe this was not a coincidence. I want to help you on this journey. Remember, there was some things, there are angels all around you, right? Was the message that I got. So I asked him I said, okay, Pastor Jordan, let me ask you about a few names. Do you know, and I gave him all the names on the list because I heard they will be revealed to you. And I asked him about a few of the names, and he said, one of the names sounds real familiar, and it's an IT guy, Shama is the one. And when I said, I'm like, when I wrote those names down, I don't know Shama, but he said Shama. Shama is who I just talked to him a few weeks ago, and he's doing very well. And he has some IT projects or an IT company. I don't know exactly what he does, but I know he's killing it. and he's been fortunate and blessed, and making millions of dollars. And I said, okay, that's cool. I don't know. And he talked about another one, about a Zoe, and I thought, I know Zoe Bogan. And I called her later on, and I said, I don't know what, I don't know how, I don't know when, but could you just connect us? And he said, yeah. He's like, yeah, no doubt, I'll connect you. And he said, whatever you're gonna really need to get I want to leave you with this thought, right? Because we had been on the phone for over an hour and a half. Said, I want to leave you with this thought. Work on, it sounds like you need to get to work, so I'm gonna get off the phone with you, right? It sounds like you got a lot of work to do, 54 books, and along with all of the other stuff, because I know you just aren't dropping and doing that. But I want you to really hone your mind, right? And I said, well, I've been doing that. I told him about the whole Mind app with LeBron James and everything, and how I've been meditating with Calm, and it's been great. And he said, that's good. That's good. That's good. But I want you to take it a step further. And I want you to record some things with your own voice. Because you have a great voice. You have a lot of passion. I can hear it. I can hear the conviction and the calling on your life with God. And I said, okay. Record it with my voice. Okay. Like affirmations. He's like, what you need to record is 7 areas of, I don't know why I said 7. He said, you need to record about 7 areas of your life that you can speak affirmations and use that, right? And use that for. And I said, okay. Guess I'll do that. I'll do that. 7 areas of your life. He said, just know you're about to step into something that you've never even imagined. And I can see, and he let me know this, I've been known to prophesy over people in the past, right? So how ironic is it that I'm going through prophecies and a prophet calls me in the middle, right? So he says, there's going to be some things in your life, and I see a lot of people. He used the word favor, right? He used the word favor, and he said, I see a lot of people pushing out favor towards you. And he said, let me give you the definition of favor. And he said, the definition of favor is the willingness of others to have power and influence on your behalf. So he said, I see a lot of favor in a lot of different areas over the United States. And I said, well, part of my calling, or what I'm messaging ish, right? Because I'm still trying to figure all this out, is to create 270 community centers across the nation, right? Part of the whole Moses, let my people go, and places where people don't want to go, right? Talk about and put in each community over $100 million to $1 billion in each community. And he said, yeah, I see a lot of people coming, and this is a message. There will be celebrities, there will be doctors and Lord that want to help you, and icons that want to help you on this mission. And Pastor Jordan confirmed that. And he said, they're going to help you. And I said, oh, okay. And he said, just remember, use your own voice. Do music, do that voiceover with your own words. And we left the call, and I said, hey, thank you very much. He said, call me anytime. I said, great. Now, a couple hours later, right? Because I'm exhausted already, has gone through the thing with the car and earlier, hadn't slept much the day earlier. And just out of the blue, I wake up again. I document it. It's 7:19. So I reach out. It says, and it gets weird. It says, reach out to Jason and get the key to the safe. The person who would have been revealed to you 3 to 4 months ago, it would have been and it gives me the day. I need to count this up, but it says it would have been 270 days after December 18th, but it happened in 2020. I asked you to ask Jason about a tall, burly man and give him a key. And I remember that. And this was way before the prayer. And Jason is one of my friends, one of my good friends, man. Such a good dude. And unfortunately, he's a leader in the church. Unfortunately, he has cancer, right? He has cancer. And going through some late stages in cancer. And it said, I'd like to ask, I know I keep saying it, my notes from God. I'm still learning this, guys. I asked you to ask Jason about a tall, burly man and give him a key. Now, when I asked Jason that, he gave me a book. He's like a key to success. There was a guy named Ray, and we hung out this weekend. There's a guy named Ray there, and he said, well, Ray's been wanting to have, here's a book. And I was going to take that book from Ray, and I got a message that say that's not the guy. And I told Jason that's not the guy, and we kind of, I don't know, we kept on moving out. My notes say you took the book to Ray, he was not the guy. Ask Jason who this man is. You will need this key on December 18th, 2020. It will open a safe. Right? And I think I got the numbers to the safe. And that's when I got those numbers, it was 2054, right? 2 was the number that will take you to the stars. 0 is the number of directions that you'll need to look because it'll be a clear path. 54 is the number that will guide you and the key to your success. 354. It was 2 more numbers. Another one of them was 7, and that'll be your lucky number. Yeah, those 4 numbers, right? And I don't know if I don't know if those were lottery numbers. I don't know if those were combination key, but Jason says, Jason, get with the guy, open the safe. So, okay. As I'm doing that, right? So I'm looking at, I'm listening to Drake, and it's a freestyle, just randomly, because my music is playing, and it's a freestyle. Drake Chicago freestyle. It's a dope track. But as I'm as I'm hearing this, it says this gift will be given to you. In the sermons, there will be music talented that will be revealed. It will enhance the level of appeal to your sermons. The unique mix of prophecy with purpose and profit has never been done, and this will go platinum. So going back into the TV show, Building the Block, when they introduced me to get up to give that speech, they introduced me as entrepreneur and platinum recording artist. Now, I had a conversation with Jonathan Sprinkles yesterday, and I looked up platinum, and platinum is when you sell 1 million copies. I thought it was 1 million copies of a book, right? I have all these books I have to do. And then I get this message right? Shortly after talking to Pastor Jordan and him saying, that's good. Use your own voice. It will enhance the level of appeals. This unique mix of prophecy with purpose and profit has never been done, and it will go platinum. You heard right when you got introduced on the stage in 2034. They did say platinum artists for audio downloads. It actually goes diamond, and the content was used from everything you have right now. From the acres of diamonds, it's right in your backyards. Use your own story. No need to dig. It's hidden in plain sight. Remember your girlfriend asking you if you have music talent. Remember the lady at Sally. So the other day I stepped in real quick because I needed to buy my girl some hair product, right? She has a lot nicer hair than I do. So I go in there to buy some hair product, and I step in, and this lady says, "You have a really great voice." And I said, "Okay, thanks. Thanks." And she says, "You have a great voice." So the lady at Sally's saying you have a great voice. You just stepped in there for 3 to 4 minutes. Again, all these numbers are adding up because 3 to 4 equals 7, which means you're lucky. Pastor Jordan called you today and let you know you had a great voice. Use his advice. Produce the affirmation he talked about. Different areas of your life. Just what you have right now. Nothing more, nothing less. Use this Chicago freestyle beat. Call Mozzie to produce the vocals, right? Mozzie is one of my best friends, beautiful singer. Use the hook from The Crook. Think of New Orleans Hustle. So if you look at back, right, find the, hey, Pop, what you got? Follow the lady, you get the grab. Ready or not, take a shot. Hey, Pop, what do you got? Find the lady, you get the guap. Ready or not, take a shot. Use the hook from The Crook. The dance you will learn from your daughter's hip hop class. He offered you a free lesson. Go take it. It is now 7:47 p.m. Now produce this track. It'll make you fly. You need this track for December 18th. Ask Fola. So Fola is Essence. A lot of you see the hats. And I was confused the other day. So in that first text, it says, go buy $1,000 from, go spend $1,000 on Essence. I'm like, God's telling me to shop? You get like, that's not right. Next thing you know, I'll be on one of those shows those murder shows where they say, yeah, God told me to do it. It was weird, but listen to this. Ask Fola for a hat and a fresh outfit. It's okay. You don't need to do it. You already ordered it. It's on its way. It will be here tomorrow. Then look with a hat. The look with the hat is your signature. Every superhero has a costume. The hat is your cape. Embrace it. Wow. I mean, I'm just, right? Just like Samson and Delilah. Maybe that's it. Remember his hair. I don't have hair, so here's a hat. Make sure you go back to Active Faith and order the clothes from there. I know everything was sold out. Go back online at 3:10 a.m. They will have a restock. Go write the stuff down to accomplish your mission. I gave you COVID to put you in isolation for a few days to work on things for maximum efficiency. Don't worry, you will conquer this lion. It's already conquered. Remember what Jonathan Sprinkle says, confidence comes from competence. You will need confidence after you conquer the lion and the bear. You will conquer it in the next 3 years. The next 3 to 4 days, don't worry about it. And here's the thing that gave me chills. So I told you my boy Jason, a very good friend of mine, has cancer. And he had a couple therapy options, but hearing this gave me chills. Don't worry about Jason. I have already healed him. He will find his answer in the forest among the trees. Study music producing and how a good song or track is made. Go to the depth of your pain, bring out the story, and spit it with fire. Your energy is infectious, your posture is contagious, and your purpose is industrious. This is just coming out, and it's wow. The first time you perform the song, it will be cold in a windy city. Reach out to Tunde, both. So I know 2 Tundes. One actually works for Essence, and I usher with him at Hope City. The other one just moved from here to Chicago. Both will have a reason for you to go there. 30 degrees. Way too cold. Will you be at the show tonight? I don't know. Gave me the temperature, 30 degrees. Like, I'm reading the notes with y'all, guys. This just came out. Remember the story in the shower about Super Hot Fire when he says, I'm not a rapper, right? So with my little cousins in Thanksgiving, we used to watch videos, and you remember those hype videos with Super Hot Fire along with the kids, and he's like, but I'm not a rapper. And he said, tic-tac-toe, you gotta go. And the whole hype men, they would go, oh, right. It was a hype video, and they would, just fall down. And the other guy was really good. It was Super Hot Fire. And then I got this verse. You are not a speaker, nor are you a preacher, can never sit in the bleachers. I'm just a lit teacher. I'm like floored, right? And it gets more weird and weirder and weirder. And like, I'm in the video, Imnu, and I'm like, dude, what is going on here? Not a speaker. I'm just a lit teacher. So then I get another big message. You're about to encounter the giant, right? This is your giant. The music is inside of you. You know, dude, this is crazy. The giant is inside of you. You know who your giant is. It's not someone else. It's the giant in yourself, right? So when I read that, when I listened to that verse that came out, right? And this is from my own notes. You're not a speaker, nor are you a preacher. Can never sit in the bleachers. I'm just a lit teacher. I'm like, man, that's a pretty good verse for a pretty good song, or a pretty good, like, somebody should do that, right? That's right when I read that. And that's your song. That is your book. That's your story. It's a culmination of everything that you've done into your life up to this point. Tell us this story. You have not changed your Instagram yet. Change the headline. My foundation is spiritual. My methods are unconventional. Also add the verse. You're not a speaker nor a preacher. Can never sit in the bleachers. I'm just a lit teacher. All right? Am I a little? So maybe that is, Jonathan Sprinkles talks about self-limiting beliefs. It's like, hey, am I too old to be in the studio ripping bars? Right? No, 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 no. If this is part of my story, Pastor Jordan said, embrace it. If it says just go. Gotta go right now. Right? Gotta go. It's a culmination of everything that you have done in your life up to this point. Tell this story. You have not changed your Instagram, change your headline to my foundation is spiritual, my methods are unconventional. Do not be afraid to come into your Ephesians 3:20 life. Once you conquer that giant, you will hit 747, which is decoding earlier, you will hit the plane, right? You'll hit higher heights. You have until December 18th, right? I don't have any, like, can I get some time? Fulfill your mission. There will be money in it. This will be your message for the word. Here's the other thing. And if you see all my stuff, like 270 books, I'm not, guys, my spelling is suspect. It is. Listen to this. You misspell a lot of words. That's okay. Use it. Use that position to come into your promise. As a sales strategy, have hidden messages on all of your books. Have one of the 12 disciples, wise men or women, on that list help you edit your books. Now, after that, everything is edited. There still will be one or two small mistakes. Most people will reprint books, use this as a crutch. Instead, use this as a cannon to break through walls that have not been broken in 6,000 years. That's heavy, right? Me? All right, I'm gonna embrace it. You will have 3 or 4 misspelled words in each book. You will have 270 books. Every section of 54 has a hidden message. When you put together all of the misspelled words, it will amount to scriptures that will be a message. Those messages will be stacked on top of each other. So earlier in a message that I got, I was thinking, it said, hey, create a platinum box with diamonds in a door. And it said, keep 5 boxes, right? Have 5 boxes in a separate section of 54. When I looked at this, and then it gave me a picture. I don't know if you guys can see this picture. It gave me a picture. So stacking them up like a pyramid, right? Five boxes in a separate box of 54. Like it's a pyramid. I was never think of that. 5 boxes, right? Because there's 5 chapters, and then you have a starter pack that's like a mix of all that of 54. This is heavy, y'all. Y'all still with me? Oh man. Look, this book will unlock some of the same mysteries that helped build the pyramids 6,000 years ago. Whatever schools figure them out, give them 1 year of free executive training. This will be an incredible marketing strategy that will help you sell millions of books. The music festivals that you will put on, you will perform at. So Matthew and I, we went to Cabo during COVID, and we really didn't know why we were there. We were just sent there, and a number of the things started to line up. Right, so we got there. We went to go play golf. We said, "Hey, it'd be cool if we did a cool benefit concert like that." my boy Jason has cancer, and another one of my friends, Ramundo, his mother has cancer. So cancer is a huge thing on my heart. It'd be a great thing to throw a benefit concert, get a bunch of celebrities down. I don't know how we do it, but you know, let's just. And right when we said that, a guy walked up to us, and he said, "Hey man, what you guys got going? What are you looking for?" And I said, "Well, we're just looking for breakfast." He said, "Well, can I have breakfast with you? You can tell you can drink a little bit." And I said, "Okay, yeah, come on, have breakfast." So me and him knew, we just like we do, we started brainstorming. Yeah, if we had a concert, yeah, we could get a few guys down. It would be cool. Don't know how we'd put it together, but you know, let's go golf tomorrow and think about it. And the guy next to us, like this dude is, it's probably 12, not even 12. It's probably 11 a.m. and this dude's lit, right? 4 or 5 beers in. Maybe 6, 7 beers in, right? He's in it. And we're just drinking breakfast, right? We maybe had a margarita or something. Yes, at 11 a.m. Don't judge. He who is without, come on, cast that first. So it's 11 a.m. We had a margarita. So he says, "Oh, you want concert? Wait here." He goes and gets his cell phone, and he calls the owner of the next club over. He's like, "Oh, my friend, he owns all this, blah, 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 blah." And I thought, okay, you know, he's just a hype man. And during that time, he calls a guy, and we just think he's full of it. So I call him, and he gets him on the phone. I say, "Hey, we're gonna go play golf tomorrow. Why don't you come? We'll need to talk about the details of this music festival." So he says, "Okay. What time do you need me to be there?" "I'll be there." Whoop-de-whoop. And I'll say, "Okay, well, I don't know if he's gonna really show up, but we're gonna have some fun and play some golf." So the next couple of days, he comes through, and granted, me and him are having a good time. We've gone to one place. They show us a tour. They treat us terrible, right? They show us the timeshare, and it's a nice house. They treat us like, they're like, "You guys, I mean, we need some real prospects. Like, we can't afford anything." So, and then they drop it down, and I start negotiating with them, and it's almost a really good deal, but we don't buy the house. It's $1 million house. Not a good time right now. We almost bought it. At the same time, coming back, right? Because they break it down into almost it's fractional ownership. The next day we get there and we play golf with this guy Diego, right? So Diego, we play golf, granted in Cabo, no joke. We're there for 8 hours. We close the place down. The most beautiful golf course I've ever seen in the world. But as we talk to him, he's like, "Yeah, I've put on multiple concerts. I've had Nelly down here. I've had Pitbull down here. We've had J-Lo down here. You guys want to throw a concert? I also throw an event every single year. They do fishing down here." And this was just an idea, right? And I said, "Yeah, let's put all this together. I don't know how all this would work, but we'll do it." He said, "Okay, yeah, let's do it." And I said, "Well, do you have a site? Because every time people hear a festival," and here was our concept, do it because it doesn't have to be great. It just has to be real, right? It just has to be real, because anytime somebody thinks of a concert, they think of Friar Festival, right? And the first thing they think is a scam. So your concert, your first one, whoever does it, and that's the thing, whoever does the next big music festival, it doesn't have to be incredibly super spectacular. It just has to be clean, functional, and real, right? People don't have to lose their money and everything. So why not us? That's what we're thinking. Why not us? I don't know how we put together, but let's put it together. So he said, yes, we can do that. And he brings us out to this site, which is in between San Jose and Cabo. And it's a huge site, right? They just bought that site, and they had bought a restaurant and everything. They own all of this land, and it is literally the perfect place to hold a concert. They said they were going to do some other things. They never really thought about a concert, but it's a great idea. And if we can bring people in and celebrities, and I told him what I do with cause centers and with grants, he's like, grants, that's good. I know some people with the federal government, if you can put it together, they would be happy to support this. We told them about virtual co-working, and at that time, we were just a virtual co-working. We hadn't built out the event site, but now we have the event side where we can stream all over the world and have a virtual experience, right? And just playing around. So we did a little promo video, right? Just to kind of sell the sizzle a little. Now, when we did the promo video, we did not really, it was just a promo video, right? So in one of those pictures, I put myself, because I took a stage at the Hard Rock Hotel with me holding a mic like I'm an artist. Like I'm an artist, right? And one of the previous promo videos, it says real artists. So, and then it shows other artists, like we don't know who we're gonna get. So it shows a variety. It shows like Bruno Mars, J-Lo, Nelly, Drake, like all these people, and we don't know who's really gonna be there. We'll get a headliner, but just kind of selling the sizzle up front. But I put myself in there. Now I'm getting these messages. Look, going back full circle, the music sessions, festivals that you will put on, you will perform at, they will reach a bunch of people who are lost, meeting them where they are, then helping them find their purpose and walk with me. Pastor Jordan was right. We need to build. We need the right. Pastor Jordan was right. We need an icon to reach people. So one of the things Pastor Jordan said when he talked to me, he's like, what all these things are being put together is what icons are made of, right? And I always said I wanted to be a social impact icon and give out more money. And our mission, our vision statement is to be able to give out, have $1 billion annual impact. It is easy for me to build up a believer that knows everything that he has. It is easier for me to build up a believer that knows everything that he has comes from me. It started by wanting to participate in your own rescue at Freedom earlier this year. So I went to a Freedom conference this year, which was an incredible conference. Cannot even put it into words. And it is the first time I spoke in tongues just not at a conference, not ever, right? I always thought it was church hype, to be honest with you. I thought it was church hype, like people speaking into tongues and, running around and falling out. Yeah, right. It's a good show, but I never really thought it was that real, right? And it just was. Then helping them find where did I leave off? It started me by wanting to participate in my own rescue. When I gave you the gift, I picked you. Pastor Jeremy was told to seek someone in the audience. He hops out off stage and grabbed your arm. So I have a picture with our pastor, Pastor Jeremy, and this is an iconic moment in that conference. I have my arms up, and there's a lot of people at this conference. There's a ton of people at this conference. There's like a couple thousand people at this conference. This is pre-COVID, right? This is last year. At this conference, I put my arms up, and Pastor Jeremy hops off the stage and comes to me and says, "Let it out. Let me hear it." And I'm like, what? Like, I'm not about to, like, I wasn't about to like make it up, right? Just to appease the crowd, and just start, I should have bought a Honda, right? But it came out real, and I just started bawling, man. I just uncontrollable, like coming through. The tongues come through like the wind, like it was incredible, and it was an incredible experience. And he said, "I picked you. Use that experience and that picture to promote freedom." I have a picture at that same conference with the hat on with my arms up. I told you are about to walk into your Ephesians 3:20 life. Remember, to whom much is given, much is required. Much is required. Use this to let your people go out of captivity. Wow. That day. Oh, and so I went upstairs, and there was another prophecy in there. Guys, I can't make this up, right? This is like all kinds of. Imnu, you still there? He might have went to sleep on me. I was listening to Les Brown upstairs, and the impossible feat. He talks about. I listen to a lot of Les Brown when I run, and he talks about Roger Bannister, and Roger Bannister. Right? If you know the history of the 4-minute mile, it was something that was deemed like absolutely impossible. Right? Absolutely just impossible. Even the Greeks would tie ropes to people and run along them and get them to try to do that and to break the 4-minute mile. Now, it was never done up to the point where Roger Bannister did it. So when Roger Bannister did it, that next week, 10 other people did it. So in a few things out earlier, a few messages, not yesterday, but the day before, it didn't talk about me, but it talked about there will be 54 billionaires that come out of your circle, right? And in this message, it says, once you break that barrier, 54 others will too. So that's what I got, guys. Like it keeps on coming. So I got a lot of work to do. I got a lot of people to connect with. I was told not to kill myself, but I encountered the lion. I encountered the bear. After talking to Pastor Jordan, again, I was like, a giant. I'm going to have to fight, right? I'm looking for an NBA basketball player. And it was revealed to me that the giant that you have to conquer is in me. Wow. Wow. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. I know more is coming. I know more people are gonna be connected to this purpose because it's just not about me. It's about helping as many other people. But I'm gonna upload this video. It may be a little long, but I'm gonna make sure that we get everything taken care of so that we can follow up and chop the. I'm just floored. I'm floored, and I think Imnu fell asleep on us. Yo, man. Hey, can you at least stop the video so we know it's and then can you do me a favor? Because I'm gonna upload this video tonight. Can you send it to me so I can upload it to YouTube?
It'll take a little bit to render.
You know, I'm gonna be up for a little bit. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. That's my boy, man. He went to sleep. I was rambling so long. He went to sleep. I am in the same suit that I was gonna go to Abdul's brother's funeral in.